Hey guys. Let's talk about when you have no motivation to want to do anything.
You know that we coming liars. I'ma keep praying to God. Tell those little niggas stop it. Tell my mama that I got this. You know that we coming liars.
What's going on? It's Pimp Fried Rice. Welcome to the Music into Millions podcast, where we give independent rappers the tools and resources needed to be successful without waiting on a record label. Like I said, today I want to talk to you guys about what to do when you really have no motivation to do anything. Now, this episode was inspired by my last week because I was not really inspired to do shit. I don't know what was going on. I was in like a weird headspace. It was like all rainy last week, and I just couldn't get my focus, and it's just, for whatever reason, I did not want to move or do anything or push towards my goals. And so I was thinking about it. I was like, well, what are you supposed to do on the days when you feel like this? Because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this some days. I'm sure you feel like this some days. Everyone has those days where they just wake up and it's just like, man, it's just not my day, or man, I'm just not ready for whatever this week is gonna throw at me, or whatever this day is gonna throw at me. And so how can you create that motivation, or how can you at least get done the things that you need to when you're kind of like pooped, your energy's low, you have no fuel, and you just really don't have the means or the motivation to do it? Well, today I got 3 different things that you can try that's going to hopefully help you to either get motivation or at least get the task done that you need to get done, even though you have no motivation. So the first thing is, alright, so if you guys don't know me, I keep a to-do list. I recommend everybody keep a to-do list, because in order to be successful, you got to know what you're going to do. It's like kind of like they go hand in hand. But by having a to-do list, it actually kind of gives you options to pick what you're going to do. So obviously everything on the to-do list needs to get done. The way I work mine is I have certain things that have certain priorities. So like there's top priorities, there's the mid priorities, and then there's kind of like if I get to it, I get to it. Usually the ones that I don't want to do are the ones that are top priority, just because it's the most work or the most thought involved. But what you do is when you have no motivation, you're looking at that to-do list and you're like, oh my God, I gotta do this and this and this, and you know this is the big one you gotta do. The best thing, and maybe like the big one that you want to do is the one that you have no motivation to do. That's perfectly fine. Move to something that's on the list beneath it, or maybe a couple points down, and just get started on that. Because a lot of times it's not necessarily that you're not motivated to do anything. It could just be that you're not motivated to do that one specific task. And that could be that it's hard. It could be something you're afraid of. It could be something that makes you uncomfortable. Whatever the reason, you by shifting your focus from that task to another task, you're basically still allowing yourself to move and to work towards your goals, but you're not forcing yourself to do something that it's like, oh my God, if I do this today, it's just going to be like trash. It's not going to be my best work. It's not going to be 100%, because you don't want to do something that's not going to be your best work. I mean, I don't know about you, but personally, I don't want to do something that's not going to be my best work, because I want everything that I do to be a reflection of myself, and I'm a perfectionist. But by doing something different on your to-do list, you're still getting stuff done, you're still moving throughout your day, and a lot of times what happens is when you start doing something, you'll be like, oh, okay, well, I got that one thing done, let me go to another thing on the list, and then you can knock that other thing off. And then you'll start to work your way down the list, and you'll be like, I just realized like I'm almost done this list. And then it's like when you get to that last thing, you either have the motivation built up from you just doing everything else, or you get all that stuff done and then you can just move it to the next day, because it's like, and I have all this stuff done, I have all this time tomorrow to work on this thing. So just try and shift your focus from the one thing that you're supposed to be doing to another thing that's still going to be beneficial. Like, I'm not saying, I'm supposed to network with Spotify playlist curators today, so instead of doing that, I'm going to go catch up on my Netflix series. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about doing something that's still going to be able to be scratched off that to-do list and help you out in a positive way. The second trick for kind of building that motivation, or at least getting the task done, is what I call the 3-minute trick. And I forget where I found this. It was somewhere online. I read this and I was like, yo, this shit is perfect. I actually ended up talking about it on my Instagram live last week, so if you guys want to check that, it kind of inspired this episode. That's on my Instagram feed. Go feel free to check that out, my IGTV. Basically, the 3-minute trick is, if you're not motivated to do something, you set a timer for 3 minutes, And all you have to do is that task for 3 minutes or however long it is you set that timer for. And then as soon as that timer goes off, you stop. If you're still motivated to keep going, then fuck yeah, keep going, like get it done as far as you can. But if you're not motivated, stop and just go on to the next thing. And so, for example, I gave the example of like cleaning your kitchen, which is also the example that the guy used in the article that I was reading. And he was saying if he doesn't have the motivation to clean his kitchen, what he'll do is he'll set a timer for 3 minutes and he'll just start at it. And he'll either sweep or, wipe some stuff down. And then when that timer goes off, he's like, I could do 3 more minutes. So then he sets the timer again, does 3 more minutes, and he's like, yeah, well now I kind of feel weird if I don't finish doing what I'm doing right now. So then he'll finish that task. And then when he finishes that task, it's like, oh, well I got this whole little clean area now let me just finish cleaning this. And it kind of just snowball affected down. Like I was saying in the last point about trying something different on your to-do list, once you get started, believe it or not, that motivation is actually going to come. Motivation is more of a muscle than anything. And you basically need to just train that muscle to turn on when you want it to. And the way you do that is by forcing it to forcing it to work, forcing that motivation to come. And the way you do that is by, even when you don't feel like doing it, just like I said, take a small tiny chunk of a bite out of it. And like if you can do that, a lot of times you're gonna get started. You're just gonna be like, I can keep going. I want to keep moving. I want to keep working towards this until you may get to a point to where like 2-3 hours down, you're like, holy shit, I was supposed to work on this for 3 minutes and I just spent like a quarter of my day or however long doing this. That's awesome. That's what you want, and that 3-minute trick will help you to do that. Trust me, I've used it in my own life and it really does work. And the last thing that you can do to get past that motivation block, or at least get the task done, is to delegate the work or have someone else do it. And that could either mean have a friend do it who will hook you up, do it for free, or maybe you could like trade or barter your services. Maybe you're a producer and they're an engineer, so you're like, I'll give you some beats if you mix my song or whatever. But you either pay them to do it or you ask them to do it for free. Doesn't matter, depends on the relationship, also depends who you're talking to, if it's a freelancer. But basically you just get that responsibility off of your own shoulders and you give it to someone else. Because I actually heard this theory one time on procrastination. And the reason we procrastinate or we have no motivation to do something is because we either don't know how to do something or we're just like unfamiliar with it. And so I was thinking about it and I was like, holy shit, that makes a lot of sense. Like a lot of the stuff that you stop yourself from doing is because it's uncomfortable for you, or it's because you don't know how to do it. So instead of just like diving head into it and getting right down to the nitty gritty, you're like, well, I'm gonna go search on Facebook for a little bit, or I'm gonna go watch some YouTube videos, you know what I mean? And then you just completely distract yourself because it's like, I don't know how to do this, it's frustrating, it's stressful. So by hiring someone else to do it, you take that stress of like, oh my God, I have to learn something new, or like, oh my God, I have to figure this out, and you just find someone who knows how to do it. Like I'm not just saying pawn it off to whoever is like the first person, like I'll do it, because that's not always gonna end very well. Do it like for someone who's a professional in that, who is farther along than you are. That way you can get some information, you can get some insight, and you don't always have to learn how to do it from them. Like a lot of times people who are entrepreneurs or who are independent rappers, who are people with like this business mindset, are like, I gotta figure everything out. Like I have to shoot the video, I gotta edit the video, I gotta record the song, I gotta book my tour date, I gotta be the manager. Like you have to be all these things. That's not true. All you're doing is just stressing yourself out by learning all these different things. You should focus on learning your like 1 to 5 things that's like your main bread and butter, and anything else that falls outside of that, hire someone else to do it or delegate someone else to do it. Because you trying to learn everything is only going to, 1, slow you down, and 2, it's just going to stress you out. And when you're stressed, when you're mad, when you have anxiety, that's when you have no motivation, that's when you start to procrastinate, and that's when your to-do list starts to pile up. And then when you look at that to-do list and it has like a whole massive stack of things you need to do, you're going to be like, I don't want to do it, like that's way too much on my plate. So hire someone else to do the things that you don't know how to do or you don't want to do. It's honestly the best way to just get those things done. That's pretty much all. That's just 3 things that you can do if you have no motivation. Like I said, last week I was not feeling it at all. I felt like Monday was a great day, and then it just kind of was like, through the rest of the week. So I'm back at it today. I was on vacation on Sunday with my girlfriend. We went to Wildwood, New Jersey. We got to see dolphins coming up out the water, which was insane. And there was this seagull who literally, we had a big ass bag of Doritos, went in our bag, tried to grab the big old bag of Doritos, like got a foot away from our towel, and we were like, you sneaky bitch. And it was a good time, but I felt like I needed something like that to kind of just like clear my head, get me away. I feel good today. I'm ready for another week. I'm motivated again. Hopefully you guys are motivated. Let me know in the comments down below which one of these 3 tricks have you used before, or do you think you would use in your scenario that's going to help you the most. Make sure you guys like the video, like I said. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can see my ugly face every time it pops up on a screen. Other than that, have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. Stay motivated. Peace.
I